Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Monday, March 9th, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It is a super full moon today, and it shows in the economy. I think today was the worst day ever in the stock market. Watching this all lay out is so surreal because it's been so vivid in my mind for 15 years that now that it's happening, it's almost a relief to me. I used to think that I was the most thoroughly insane person relative to this world. And now that I see I was probably one of the most sane people in a thoroughly insane world. Everybody was chasing digital illusions of wealth, turning a blind eye to the worst in humanity, all to get paychecks and all this money and chase after all this stuff that eventually you'll all see it was all a waste of time. Everything. We enabled the worst in humanity to spread debt and death throughout the world, and now it's going to start falling apart. And what's worse is I'm watching Trump, playing the fiddle and, acting all cool and stuff. There's a grand criminal conspiracy that's happening right now that when the markets crash, it may seem painful to the majority of humanity, but to the psychopaths that live off of debt and death, this is a feast where they're going to end up profiting even more unless people start waking up and realizing that we don't need them. Until we realize that we don't need usury, income tax, war, debt, death, nothing's going to change. So right now, the cancer is going to kill the healthy host. If you think that the stock market's just going to somehow turn around and that there's going to be some economic package and some tax benefit and lower rates and that somehow we're going to muddle through this, no. I don't see how this ends other than absolute global devastation. I don't see how you go back to the world the way that it was once the bubble's been popped. We have $240 trillion of unfunded liabilities promised out by cunning psychopaths to get votes, to get contracts, to get bids. And all they did was waste all that capital and energy. I mean, think about it. $1 trillion in war every year. Where does that go? How does that raise humanity? What a waste. So if you think we're going to somehow come out of this, by all means, please don't subscribe to me anymore. But if you start to see that, oh shit, Chris was right, please take notice that this is just the beginning, right? This time next month, this time 3 months, this time a year from now, that's when the real ramifications are going to hit. This is the Wile E. Coyote moment of the global economy. It's gone. There's nothing underneath. Like I was just talking to my friend. They were talking about the cruise industry. They're trying to give away cruises for $150, right? Like, would you want to go on a cruise for $150 right now? No. So that's $1 billion industry. Shipping, all these things. The ramifications are going to shudder through the economy. And what the problem is not COVID, right? I don't think coronavirus is this, going to kill off the whole world like the bubonic plague or anything like that. It's not like that. But the economic ramifications of what this virus is going to do is, I don't know. I think it might be the worst thing ever to the human psyche. Because when the global economy crashes, all the values, all the power structures, all the things that we thought were sacred, all the things that we thought we figured out will be proven wrong. You can't have debt-based money because it'll rip apart everything at the end. Yeah, we can have 40, 50 years of unlimited prosperity and consumption and, who cares? But the payback is here and now. And you baby boomers, this is it, folks. There's no coming back from this one. There's no economy that comes back after this. So where does it go? It's going to go from the most risky, least liquid assets, stocks, cryptos, bonds, all the way down to the most safest form of money. And the bond market is done. Like, you're buying risk with no reward at this point. Why would you hold a bond? Knowing that governments hyperinflate at some point. You're stuck in it, and then they hyperinflate it away. Cash. Is this a cunning scheme to get rid of our cash and bring in Fed coin and mark of the beast? Probably. Are you going to play by that? You're going to wait until it's too late? Or are you going to have your wealth out of the system? Gold. The gold to silver ratio right now hit 100 today. Folks, it comes out of the ground at a 1-to-9 ratio. Silver has 10,000 industrial uses that gold doesn't have. There's 6 times more gold above ground than there is silver. What if gold is not worth what it is? What if it's just alchemy lead and that there's just so much of it and it doesn't have any purpose other than monetary value? If you're buying gold at all, sell all of it and get silver. If you can take 1 ounce of gold, a teeny coin, and get 100 ounces of silver back in return, just wait till the gold to silver ratio drops in half, 50. I mean, we've hit it multiple times at 50. You double your gold if you had silver. I think it's going to go back down to at least 30. It comes out of the ground at a 1-to-9 ratio. There's 6 times more gold above ground than there is silver. Silver is the most strategic metal in the world. And they treat it like garbage. And it's the basis for their debt and death paradigm because they deprived humanity from it. The crime of 1873, the rape of India of $45 trillion, 2 opium wars against China because they had 25% of the world's silver. That's what built this debt and death paradigm. Repeal 1913, right? And all you guys still holding out for Trump, when is he going to start pointing to the Fed? No, what he begs for is lower interest rates, more monetary stimulus. Sounds like a bankster, folks. Sounds like a bankster. So this is the time where you got to make your choice. You're either in physical silver or you're not. And everything that's not is subject to just evaporate, including gold. If gold is that far overvalued to silver, I see Jim Rickard saying, oh, gold's going to hit 50,000. Oh, really? If the gold hits 50,000, then silver will hit 10,000. If we're going to throw that out there. Where's your best ROI? Silver or gold? Why would you put any money in gold at this ridiculous level? You like paying $1,700 for a little coin that fits in the palm of your hand? Or have 100 ounces of physical silver? And each one of those ounces represents 10 days of hard human labor throughout all time in history. And even 2/3 of the world today that lives off of $2 a day. Silver, folks, we can break this. Silver hasn't moved because they're putting so much pressure on this. I've watched the physical demand explode over the past 2 weeks. I got people throwing tons of money at silver right now, and the price hasn't moved. And it won't move until the entire physical market breaks. And it won't take much. Right now, people are still blind to this. This is the trade of the century. All this wealth is going to go down from the most risky assets, the least liquid forms of money. All these high PEs, all this, ballooned economy, consumerism, it's all done. And it's a scary, long drop. And the only place that I see safety is silver. Not cash, not gold, not real estate, not stocks, not bonds, certainly not crypto. So tomorrow, I've made the call 3/20/2020, the beginning of the spring, as a movement to try to break this for once and for all. I'm putting $77,777.77 on that day. to maybe take enough physical silver off the market. You know, maybe, I know I'm not going to do it alone. 77 grand in this quadrillion-dollar economy means nothing. But it's a couple thousand ounces of silver that will never see JP Morgan's hand. It's a couple thousand ounces of silver that 250 paper contracts can no longer touch. It's a couple grand that trillions of dollars of paper silver manipulation never touches again. That's what this is about. It's about our revaluing things. Do you want to value this stock market? Do you want to value the current paradigm? Or do you want to hope and save that we can do better on the other side of this? You know, maybe not collectively. I would love if the United States rebranded itself and got back to its traditions. But everybody's bought and paid for, and that's not going to happen until everybody's brought to their knees and humbled. And for those that can see this coming, yeah, you're going to be the ones that are going to be providing the solutions. And every ounce of silver is another option, another possibility where everybody will see limitations. That's my thoughts for tonight. I'm going to go meditate more. We'll see where this goes. You know where I stand. Good night.
Where do you put your money? What's the number one conviction trade right now for you, 2020?
Silver.
Silver?
Silver?
No.
Why not gold?
Because when you look at the relative values of silver and gold, silver today is about, let's say, 65% below its prior peak. Gold is getting very close to its prior peak.
Can it go exponential like we're seeing in some of the non-precious metals?
I think there's a high probability of that. I would call monetary policy a policy of bubble to bubble. For instance, you know, to save the economy after the stock market crash, right? The Fed cut rates and overinflated commercial real estate, and then we had to bail out the banks with the Resolution Trust Corporation. So then once things calmed down again, investors no longer thought that commercial real estate was safe, and they inflated the internet bubble to the wealth effect to keep the economy going. And then of course it went bust, and so then people didn't feel safe in stocks, so they started buying homes. And we played that out, and it bust. And so my attitude is, when you look at the amount of leverage in corporate America, and where we are today, you definitely are inflating a bubble here in credit.
Is the elasticity or malleability of the system there so we can respond and react when we get that? Or is it a jump condition where it's going to be ugly?
You know, one of my colleagues at Guggenheim likes to say that asset prices go up on an escalator and they come down.
Well, normal.
And
Absolutely.
They come down in an elevator,
yeah.
right? So the problem is, since nobody I know is smart enough to figure out when the music stops, you know, I think that's a really difficult thing for people to try to time.